Revenge is a dish best served with sudden appearances, leaving someone you're meant to love alone in labor or ruining someone's business, according to the world of soap. Willmott-Brown in Eastenders, Warren Fox in Hollyoaks, Todd Grimshaw in Coronation Street and Ross Barton in Emmerdale all have axes to grind, but how far will their vengeance go in other soap developments? A sudden death rocks Bernice Thomas in the Dales, Mary Taylor makes a shocking mistake in Weatherfield, Milo Entwistle sabotages a Hollyoaks wedding, Ethan Hardy fears he is being blackmailed in Casualty, and Tina Carter and Billy Mitchell make a ghastly mistake in Walford. If you're searching for even more drama, there's a big birth crisis, a quest for justice, a big confession, a stalker showdown, new tension between old foes and a big decision about medical treatment. Can we pack all of that, and more, into one preview piece naturally? Coronation Street 1. Johnny makes a big decision when the insurance pays out on Underworld. He and Jenny are going to retire to Spain, which is news to his wife. The announcement doesn't go down well with the factory staff, who fear they will never get their jobs back too. As Todd and Adam work on helping Rita out, Aiden discovers that they have not been doing things by the book and drops Todd in it with Billy. However, a seething Todd prepares to strike back when he observes Aiden and Aaliyah loading a van with stock. 3. Mary suspects that Angie may have a drinking problem, and when George is taken ill and Angie drives him to hospital after being in the bistro, Mary reports her to the police. But has she made a huge mistake? 4. Chesney is less than impressed to see that Sinead has been spending time with Daniel while looking after Joseph and demands an explanation. Frustrated and worried for his relationship, he asks Beth, Kirk and Craig to move out. 5. When news reaches Aiden of Johnny's retirement plans, he rounds on Jenny and accuses her of being a gold digger. As Johnny squares up to his son, a row leads to Aiden lashing out violently against his dad. 6. With Anna not allowed to be near him, Seb moves in with Sally and is understanding when she comes clean about speaking to social services. Meanwhile, Faye sets out to prove that Seb's HIV diagnosis hasn't changed anything. Eastenders 7. Willmott-Brown leaves Kathy shaken by suddenly turning up in the cafe. As she reels from coming face to face with the ghost from her past, he explains that he wants to make amends but still refuses to accept responsibility for what he did to her. 8. Tina is racked with guilt over what happened to Janet, and when she sees Billy at his lowest ebb, she reaches out but they end up sleeping together. After their big mistake, Tina admits that she was the one driving when Janet was hit, and she and Billy prepare to go to the police. 9. Abby is talking to Ian about the future of the restaurant, and when it's clear that he sees it as something to pass down to his heirs, she tells him that she is pregnant with Stephen's child. As Ian shares this news with Max, it creates new worries for the schemer. 10. Ian is worried about his mum's behavior, and she eventually admits that Willmott-Brown is back. Ian reaches out to Phil, who decides to get rid of Willmott-Brown once and for all, but as their showdown ensues, what will Phil do? 11. Michelle lures Tom to the house under the pretense of wanting a meal with him and then confronts him over his intense behavior. He concedes that he went too far, but when he moves in for a kiss, it's clear that Michelle is at serious risk. 12. Max is fuming when he realizes that Carmel has been suspended from the council and blames Phi, but can she dilute his anger? Meanwhile, she reaches out to the Carters with a new option, but can she be trusted? Emmerdale 13. The police turn up to arrest Adam when evidence is found in his car that links him to Emma's death, but he swears that he is being framed and reckons that Ross is behind it. Later, after another flashback, Ross packs a bag and departs the village, but Adam notifies the police. 14. Eric meets up with an old friend from the council and is aghast to learn that there are plans to build through his home, unless he can cough up a bribe. When he reluctantly pays up, he later discovers that the council will instead knock down the Dingle house. 15. Rebecca's car is playing up and Victoria insists that Aaron works on it for her, but as he is taking it out for a test run, Rebecca's waters break and the car gives up. Miles from a hospital, will he have to deliver the baby? 16. Kath turns up at Home Farm for a meeting with Robert, and he informs the Whites that he has been offered a job away from the village. Lachlan is delighted, but Lawrence is crushed, unaware that this is just another stage of the manipulation. 17. Bernice is treating her elderly client Mrs. Dumfries when suddenly the customer drops dead, leaving Bernice shaken. With Mrs. Dumfries having just won big on the horses, Nicola then finds her betting slip, but what will she do with it? 18. Jerry needs a place to stay after being turfed out by Doug and has his eye on the mill, but Aaron won't have it, despite Liv's pleas. Jerry tries to impress Aaron by working at the scrapyard, but when he then accidentally damages Aaron's car, can he fix it? Hollyoaks 19. Sienna is in a serious situation at the hands of Warren. Having gone into labor with the twins, can Farrah and Kim come to her aid after spotting her message of help, and what will Warren do next after Sienna gives birth? 20. Milo is worried after it has been suggested that he will have to move out, and he sets about sabotaging Dirk and Cindy's wedding by painting Dirk in a very bad light and leaving Cindy with a very difficult decision to make. 21. Having to discover the secrets that Warren and Joel hid around Bart's death, Cleo is on the warpath and wants justice as she tells Myra of her plans to bring them down, and Joel is shaken when he realizes how much she knows. 22. Leah is getting wound up over Sweet and Ryan's constant bickering with one another and enlists Tegan's help to get them to talk things through. As the pair are locked up in stocks, will they make headway in their feud? Casualty 23. Ethan is in for an unsettling time as he discovers a threatening note in his locker which proves that someone else knows about his involvement in Scott Ellison's death. Who has ammunition on Ethan, and what will they do with it? 24. Connie reaches a big decision about her illness as she reveals to a staggered Ethan that she is not going to take any of her treatment options. Completely disagreeing with her move, can he persuade her to have a change of heart? 25. Newcomer Rash is determined to prove his worth to his mentor Alicia and pulls out all of the stops to show what he can do, but when he makes some mishaps as the pressure gets to him in recess, will he mess everything up? What's next? Who grows suspicious of a neighbor's shocking crime, and what lengths will the soap villain go to in order to silence them? Who faces demons from their distant past when they revisit somewhere familiar, and will it give them a fresh perspective on an ongoing situation? Who makes a return and sets about sabotaging the relationship of a relative, and will their scheming be exposed? Who has an opportunity to turn to crime for a big payoff, and will they regret their actions after getting in too deep? Whose wedding day is thrown into jeopardy when someone who isn't their would-be spouse makes a declaration of love? More Coronation Street spoilers. Anna Windass exit revealed in huge police standoff. More Eastenders spoilers. Phil Mitchell kills James Wilmot-Brown in violent showdown.